Probably the best point on this plough is the flush shear and point system. So the point sits flush with the shear and the moldboard and shin. So in most other ploughs the point sits on top of the shear, but this system, with it being flush, it flows smoothly throughout the board. It doesn't wear the board unevenly, and it doesn't stick, where if it jumps over the point, often it'll start sticking at the front of the board.
So that also, by doing that, by having that point proud on a plough, it also means you get bouncing, so your furrows aren't that level, and it also prematurely wears your moldboard on this point in here, and your shin. And moldboards are one of the most expensive wearing parts on any plough. And then obviously this moldboard, it packs the furrows very, very tight. That's really important to get a nice level job for your second pass, whether you're coming in with a folding rod or with paddles or a set of discs or even a light maxi tool to work your furrows down. Really important that the soil is tipped over and it's all inverted, as William's saying, at 180 degrees, so you get a full inversion of your soil.
It means that all the trash that's on top stays at the bottom of the furrow, so when you do cultivate it and work it, you don't bring any of the stuff back up, which can then either block your drill or give you issues with slugs and insects later on.
There's two things about sprays, is a lot more resistance to them now, and they're also still very costly. Well, the advantage of the plough is that you eliminate that. You tip the soil over, you kill the bugs and the slugs, and you invert it 180 degrees, so you get a full inversion.
Yeah.
Pack your furrows in tight.
It means that it's basically instant death to any weeds or any plants that are growing, because it's completely buried, tipped upside down, the roots are in the air, they'll die. So it does save you money in costs and chemicals and insecticides going forward.
This point in here is the main pivot point, and that holds up the two moldboards. On the Överum Plough, this pivot point is not on the main beam. It actually sits offset, so it's outside the main beam, and it's also greasable. So it just means that pivot point is on any plough is the most high wearing point on the plough.
These knuckles here, where it pivots on the auto reset, are replaceable, so you can replace the rod that goes through the leg and also that knuckle. So it means a lot of the other ploughs, that's all one part with the legs, so to replace that you'd have to replace the whole leg, where this you can, if it does wear out over time, it is quite a cheap exercise to replace that and update it. Probably the main feature of the plough, especially when you're contracting, is the auto reset. And these ploughs have a hydraulic auto reset, so you can pressurise the accumulator and the auto reset leg system from the cab of the tractor to how much pressure you want. I guess it's less wearing points compared to springs that are getting weak and starting to let go, where this you can infinitely adjust what pressure you want depending on what soil conditions you're in. So we can put a higher pressure in the auto reset on the accumulator on the front furrow if needed, and it helps keep that front furrow in the ground in really hard conditions and when it's very dry and tough ploughing, and it makes the plough steer a lot better. The front furrow really steers the plough and keeps it in the ground, so if you need to, you can adjust the pressure higher on this leg than the rest to keep it ploughing nicely and keep it ploughing nice and level. Yes, I would recommend this plough to other farmers. It's very well built, makes a good job, can handle any conditions that we throw at it, and always seems to make a quality job and finish.